I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise to the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the
United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We stop doing that.
You have to do it. Roll call, Ms. Pinto.
Mayor Capelli.
Here.
Ms. Passio. Here. Mr. Ranieri. Here.
Present.
Ms. Ross. Did you say here? Mr.
No, I said
Lowenstein.
present.
Here.
Mr. Borough.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Long.
I'm here.
Mr. Bayshore.
I'm here.
And Ms. Straley.
I'll see her, but that's okay. Could everyone just mute, because we get a lot of back feed. Okay. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 6, 2021, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and carrier post on January 6, 2021. First order of business is the approval of minutes. A motion is in order for the approval of minutes of the December 30th, 2020 meeting and the January 5th, 2021 reorganization and the 1/5/21 regular meeting submitted by the clerk, as each member has received a copy of the same. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, reports?
The only report that I know 2 fire ones were emailed today, but my printer wasn't working, so we're not going to have those. I do have the last report from the court for December. Other than that, nobody was able to really do their reports because of the closing. So the last report I have for the court is the money taken in at the end of December, which was for December was $4,517.81. That's the borough's portion. And that's all that I have. We'll have to do them all next month.
I think Ms. Kelly probably has a few. I saw a few reports that were emailed to us, right, Eleanor?
I did, but I can read them from my phone if you want me to.
Ms. Kelly will probably report tonight, so we'll let her do that, if there's anything else. Okay, so for the one report, is there a motion to accept the reports as read from the clerk?
I'll make that motion. I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
First thing we have now is a public hearing for ordinance 21-01, which is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please give your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, would someone like to make a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly. Yes. Mr. Lowenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Big size.
Okay. All right, do we go right to committee reports? First committee report is finance, Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Nick. I'd first like to say nice shirt choice there. Really look sharp tonight. I mean, we must have channeled each other. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and everybody else. I'm gonna pretty much rely on my caucus report, but I'm going to elaborate a little bit on some things that have changed since that meeting last week. I had mentioned we were working on filing our debt statement. That's been filed as of the 29th, so we can check that off our list. And in the process, you'll always hear me talking about our debt to asset ratio. I got that number, and it's 1.66, which is pretty good. When I started out, we were at a 1.4 debt to asset ratio, and I believe that there's no danger until you approach the 3% debt to asset ratio. So we're in pretty good shape there. I was very happy to see that today. This just came in. Now we're working on our annual financial statement, and then we'll be working on our annual budget. That's basically it in finance, unless Shelley wants to add something once she gets her shot at it. I'd also like to just say the charging station. Everything's completed, all the POs were issued, and now all the hard work's coming in. I've been sent all the information to set up our account, things along that nature. Shelley, I might be in this week or next week to have you help me out, or Chris, to get that rolling, but it's just a little bit of paperwork and we'll be all set for the charging station. I wanted to also mention that Eleanor, Richie, myself, and David started a grant committee, and we had our first Zoom meeting yesterday. And what we're doing is we're focusing in on projects that are going on through town, either already involved in or that we want to accomplish in 2021. And if there are any grants available anywhere through the EPA, county, state, all other kinds of things. And it's looking pretty good. Richie and Eleanor are on that committee. We'll get together like once a month or once every other month when we catch up on some of the work. Anybody who wants to be involved in the grant committee, because it's going to be an ongoing, evolving committee, or if you're looking for some help with a grant idea, contact me, Richie or Eleanor, and we'll bring you in. We'll attach you to our email chain, and we'll get started. And I'm going to end with that, and the rest is progress.
Okay, John, thank you.
You're welcome.
Public safety, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, my report, of course, is rather lengthy because I wear a lot of hats, as you know. There was a hit and run in town, and I cut the article out that was in the newspaper, and I gave it to the chief, and our police department, working with the prosecutor's office, were able to solve that hit and run, and I just want to congratulate them on that. It was in the newspaper, and they were mentioned very honorably in the newspaper article. Despite not having an agreement with the fire company, we're moving ahead with renovations. And I did send some of the pictures to John and to Patty to put in the newsletter. It was an empty room. The bar had been removed, totally empty. And John and his crew had started this weekend, and I don't know where it is now. I haven't been over to the firehouse to see how far he's gone. But he's putting in the bunk rooms, and he's putting in the showers and bathrooms for bunk rooms for women, bunk rooms for men. So that's moving forward, and that's phase one. Phase two will be the offices that will be for the fire marshal and for the EMS director. And those officers will be going in on phase two, where the old kitchen, I don't know if you're familiar with the firehouse, but where the old kitchen was and the old bunk rooms, they will be converted to the offices now. There will be 2 offices over there, and the fire department will be moved over to the firehouse, and everything will be in one and contained in one building. So that's all moving forward. We hope to get an agreement of some kind. I know that the mayor has been working on that, and Mayor, if you need my help in any fashion, please let me know, okay? I'll be glad to help you out with that. So for the police department, we had 814 calls for service. We had 105 arrests. We had some high overtime, but it had to do with the hit and run, because they had quite a lot of investigation to do with that. And also there was some SWAT team action. So it was 24 hours of overtime, but certainly well-deserved, because we did solve that hit and run situation. So thank you for our wonderful police department. They did a great job. And our OEM coordinator kept me posted all along with all the updates on the blizzard that we've just experienced. And I thank you, Charlie, for that. It's so good to hear that someone's got this all together, and we appreciate his service in that regard. Okay, I'm going to code enforcement. We have a new code enforcer. His name is Buck Tutel. Now, some of you know him and some of you don't, but I did meet with him, with the mayor, and with the police department. He comes under my purview as code enforcement. Any kind of enforcement comes under public safety. So he will be working directly with our public safety committee, and he'll be working with our police department under the chief and under the 2 captains. They had 12 complaints for inspections. They had 12 re-inspections and 2 court summonses issued this month. And thank you, Buck, for your service. Our fire company. Well, it was a rather slow month. And because it was so slow, sorry, I just got interrupted. Because it was slow, they got a lot of training done on special assignments, and they've been working on the building project, which is great. I'm just so happy to see all that moving forward. The 10 sets of turnout gear and the 2 helmets purchased under capital last year arrived 2 weeks ago. So that closes out the 2020 capital for the fire department. They had 24 calls for service, and that includes 12 within the borough of Runnemede. And that includes all the turnpike calls. So there were 12 automatic mutual aid to other surrounding communities. And that is the report of the fire company. Does anybody have any questions about any of these reports? Okay, I'll move on. Our fire department had the emergency medical service report here, and $18,797.01 was collected this month. And that department is running in the red. I mean, in the blue. They're making money. They're covering their expenses. Of course, we don't know how it's all going to play out because we just raised their salaries. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the year. But I just want to keep you posted on that. There was 176 calls. 151 for EMS and 25 for the fire. The overtime for EMS was 38 hours, and that included the pay for the holiday. You know, there was one holiday in there, so that was $37 extra in overtime for the holiday pay. And, I wanted to tell you, Belmar gets the bulk of our services as far as going out of town. Because I know that, you have 96 calls here in town, 23 of those, or 23 are to Belmar, and the next one is Gloucester Township. So we had 151 calls all month, and 23 of them was to Belmar and 9 to Gloucester Township. So that's EMS. And then we have the fire marshal. Okay, the fees collected for the fire marshal were $1,742. And he had a total of 31 inspections. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being extending all my time. I appreciate it. It's a lot, of course. But it's important. It's important that everybody knows what's going on.
Absolutely. And I know when to bring in the big guns. If I need you for that negotiation, I'll bring you in to close the deal. But at this point, I think these renovations are moving forward, which is very good. They're providing us with a facility that can be utilized, and hopefully we continue to build on that and keep improving that building. Okay, next we have public events. Ms. Passios.
Just briefly, I'm going to be talking to my committee in regards to making some plans for events. I don't know what this year's going to bring us, but we have some events already planned. Also, Eleanor, thank you for the pictures. I appreciate that. I will be depending on the departments to be sending me some pictures, or John or myself, of what's going on for the present and the future with a little write-up. That's for our newsletter. Joyce, anything on the rabies clinic?
Yeah, March 20th. It was in the letter.
Yes. The
March
Women's
20th.
Club. The Women's Club will be doing their table. We'll be giving out information about what to do with an emergency, with your pet. And Charlie always gives us that information, so we put that out. And we'll be also taking donations for Homeward Bound.
All right. I'm not sure yet whether we're going to have it at the community center or how we're going to run it. It might be at the field house. We might be better off having it at the field house. So we'll discuss.
I didn't say it. I just said Harry Williams Complex, I believe. That way it takes in all of it.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'll have to discuss that, but I'm sort of leaning towards the field house so that we can have everything open. March 20th. It'll be 10 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Caserta?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and with that, I'm just going to say progress. We're going to keep on moving.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Engineering, Mr. Kraft.
I'm going to go on my caucus report. Nothing really new happening. I haven't talked to Mark, so as far as I know, nothing new. And I'll just say progress.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Public Works, Mr. Lomestein.
As you can imagine, Public Works was kind of busy the last couple of days with all the snow plowing. They came by and plowed my driveway in twice, and I was out there cleaning it up. But, it's part of snow plowing. It can't be helped. I tell people about growing up in Maine, we used to have road graders go by, big 6-foot tires, and the blade would be 6 feet up in the air, and it would push the snow back 30 feet into your driveway. That's a little more than here, but anyway, I just talked with Harry a little while ago. Everything's pretty copacetic with that. On the bill list, if you notice, there's a $4,500 for a dump truck that came from Stone Harbor. That's the final vehicle that came from there. And I'm glad we have all the vehicles. As you know, I have a camera in front of my house, and I see a lot go by. And they're always out there, always working, and always busy. Patty, I think at Rabies Clinic, the field house would be the best spot for it, not in the Harry Williams building. It's better. It's an easier thing you can open up to.
I agree.
We're getting closer and closer to vaccines. I read today, I guess Dan knows about it too, but 6,500 pharmacies now are going to have the vaccine coming up soon. And that's a very good thing.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go stand in the line all day long, like Joyce and I. So anyway, but the rest is progress. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. And I want to say, yes, the Public Works did do a great job. I gauge things on how many phone calls I get, and I only got one phone call in the
I
past.
just got one too, just one.
I got one.
Yeah. So that's a
I
good
got one.
Did you?
I didn't get one.
Mine was an 85-year-old woman, got her driveway got plowed in, and I just went and shoveled it. I went and cleared it for her. It was much easier than bothering anybody.
God bless you, John.
Plus the gyms were closed and I needed to work out.
Yeah, the pickleball courts are closed too.
Yeah.
The
I got a call, and instead of giving him Public Works, I gave him Harry's phone number. He wasn't too happy with me.
Oh,
No.
that's not good. I can understand that.
It was an honest mistake, though. I
Oh, Harry,
apologize.
sorry about that, but
Yeah, it's
And
not good.
just to add on to that about the driveways, I have my building on the Black Horse Pike. When the state of New Jersey comes down with those big trucks, they do exactly what Greg says. It blows this, pushes the snow all the way up, almost hits my door almost, how much when they move real quickly and do that.
ow.
We have to weigh that out. It's nice to have the road clear. If everyone saw the Black Horse Pike looked great today. And, but that's, pushing all the snow somewhere else. Okay, well, let's keep moving on. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Sapiro.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Mayor? How Council, rest of council, everybody else? I'm going to rely on my caucus report. Nothing else is going on, really. The only thing is, Patty, if you're going to use the field house for the rabies, let me know. Because some kids and teams are starting to use it to practice softball and baseball. So if you're going to use it that day, that way I can make sure nobody's using it those times, okay?
I have a question.
You're muted, Patty.
About the animals going on that AstroTurf, is that going to be a problem?
No, it's better than the floor at the Harry Williams.
Okay, I thought it might be harder to clean up.
Oh, you mean as far as weights?
I'm trying,
Well, I mean, if it's on the basketball court, you just wipe it up. If it's into the AstroTurf,
It might sink in a little bit.
It also might confuse the animals. You know how in New York people have a piece of fake grass on their balcony so their dogs can go poop and pee? Maybe that might confuse them.
Yeah, that's New York. That's north of Trenton.
I really have to figure because I don't want a lot of people in either place. So I just might have people pull up and stay in a car and give them a number. Stay in your car. When I call your number, come out with your dog. I might do like 3 at a time, like that. That's what I'm planning on doing. So we'll see.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you remember, you got some people in front of me, they like walking their dogs to them, but they're not going to have a car, so.
Well, I have to stay outside then. Whatever.
Yeah,
They're used to staying outside. It's not like they all come in at one time. So if it's raining,
It's also the end of March. It'll be warmer.
yeah.
True. Yeah.
You try to accommodate everyone, but not everyone's happy.
Hey, if I can say one more thing, Nick and I were, and I saw Patty down there too, but we were down at the Harry Williams on Saturday for the VA. They were very happy with the facility and the way it was prepped and just using it. They're going to be coming back on February 20th, I think it is.
20th.
And it's staying set up, and then they'll come back in and do the second shots. But they were all very happy.
Very well organized. It was a pleasure. Get in and out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
By appointment only, correct?
Yes. They turned away.
Not with the VA, not with the borough.
They
Right, so
turned
the VA
away.
doing it.
They turned away walk-ins. Yeah.
All right, I can't tell you how many messages I have on my phone from people wanting to know how to get vaccines.
It's all yours. That's part of you. That's why you make the big money.
I didn't answer that. Deal with it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to also say the vaccine, the working with the county, the state and the federal government through the VA. I don't think it could have worked out any better. And of course, the way the Public Works Department, the Police Department, even EMS and Fire, well, everyone was involved, especially obviously Public Works getting the building together. And the fact that it wasn't being used, it worked out for us. Think about it. The only thing we've used the building for recently, if everyone remembers, is we've had 2 blood drives and now the vaccine and 2 vaccines. So it's, we're very lucky to have that building. We're very lucky that it's we put the money. Who would have thought when we started putting money into the building a few years ago that replacing the heater, replacing the floor, remember even the chairs, they worked out great. The chairs and the tables and things like that. So those investments made a big difference.
Maybe we can call it Harry Williams Medical Center.
Hopefully not. No. This is
Really?
doesn't happen to us again.
Celebration Center.
We'll keep going. Solicitors report. Mr. Long, do you have anything for us this evening?
No.
Okay.
He asked the question. No, nothing really to report. Mrs. Kelly touched on a few things, made some edits to the ordinance for first reading after further discussion with the mayor. Otherwise, just keeping Councilman Lobenstein off my case with the snowstorm. Hits and misses. I'm going to be nice to Mrs. Kelly this month, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that, I have progress.
All right, thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Basor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Like Councilman Farrell said, not much has changed since last Tuesday, so I'm going to rely on my report from caucus.
I actually do have one question. I hate to ask it during this meeting, but we don't always get together. Last month when the decision was made to put that little concrete swale at the end of Highland for the water that was ponding there, what caused that as opposed to when we've done other roads? They tend to blend in. And what do you think will happen when Evesham Road gets repaved? Because the county does have it on their list. Is this a temporary solution until they replace Evesham Road?
The problem with it is it's very flat, so even if they came through, they were going to have to do something similar. So it can stay as is because it's going to keep water going down the gutter line.
Okay. Now, I just was curious because so it's much more, it's flatter than the other roads. The other roads are higher and they dump onto Evesham Road.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, where do we stand on the Scout building? What's going on with that? Plans? Anything? What?
Okay, I can report on that. Ms. Passio and I finally got together with the majority or a good portion of the Scout leaders. And Box Associates had done a drawing for us back in December. We just never had an opportunity to get together. We finally got the group together. We got down there late at night. Actually, it was after our last council meeting. We ran over there and met with them. And there was a couple questions that needed to be asked. Some of the activities that the girls do and the boys do. For example, they do cooking and stuff like that as part of their Scout program. And they were in agreement, and I haven't actually talked to Mr. Basor about this. They were in the engineer, the architects. They're okay with putting an electric stove in there, which really helps us out because then we believe that means there's not as much fire suppression that's needed. They were concerned that the bathrooms for the boys and girls were maybe a little bit larger. So the next step for us is to go back to the engineer, through his architect, and start to redesign this. And then we'll go out to bid on it. The only thing I'll say is our original estimates for money, doing it right is always going to cost more, as we know.
Yeah.
The bathrooms, to do the roof, to do the handicap accessibility. But I think what we're learning is every time we've invested in something, we've seen that there was we reap the reward, like the Harry Williams building, or even at the Borough Hall when we did the parking lot and we did the second floor. Who would have ever thought that the school board would have moved upstairs? I would have never. That was not even a guess. If you all remember when we did that, I never thought that would happen. So the Scout building, I think, just gives us another piece to our puzzle.
Asset.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where we're at with the Scouts.
Hey, Nick, I have a question for you. You said the investment in the Harry Williams building has worked out and everything's great, and it's great that the county's using it. When we go to ask for help with some funds for that building, is it going to because they shows us our facility. Will that play into it?
Well, two parts to that question. The one part is there may be an opportunity for us, for some of the work that Harry did, there may be some opportunity for us to be reimbursed a little bit, which would really make a difference for us in some of those activities. And I would argue that we don't do those things necessarily to reap the reward for it. But I agree with your premise, though, that by doing those things, Runnemede, we're putting ourselves out there, and people realize that we're doing things and helping each other out. And that was the example that was said on Saturday, was the fact that from the VA all the way down to the local municipality working together was just an amazing thing. And I don't think it could have gone any better. Everyone who was there, it really went tremendous. So, but I agree with you. It keeps building those bonds. It keeps allowing them to know what our needs are. They even noticed some of the things that were lacking down there: more adequate bathrooms for handicap accessible bathrooms, a more adequate vestibule to allow people to come into the building, a little bit easier, as opposed to that tight vestibule that's there. Our parking's doing pretty well, but we can continue to keep improving our parking and things like that. So that was a great example and a great test for us, but I think we just keep moving forward with that stuff.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, old business, new business. We're going to go right on to the agenda items now. The first thing we have is a proclamation for Black History Month. I'm going to read that out loud. Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas Black History Month is observed in February of each year, and whereas Black History Month seeks to emphasize Black history and its cultural contributions to American life, and is designed to recognize and pay tribute to the many contributions of African Americans to the history, society, and culture of the United States of America. And whereas Black History Month celebrates the achievements of African Americans in the arts, civil rights, education, entertainment, government, history, law, literature, medicine, military, music, politics, science, sports, and other endeavors. And whereas Black History Month allows us an opportunity to recognize the heroes of African American history, including James West, U.S. inventor of more than 250 patents, and professor at Johns Hopkins University; Mary M. Daly, the first African American woman to receive a PhD in chemistry in the U.S., who taught and conducted research regarding foods and diet and their effect on the heart and the circulatory system; Catherine G. Johnson, one of NASA's human computers, who performed the complex calculations that enabled humans to successfully achieve spaceflight. And whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Month was expanded and became established. Black History Week was expanded and became established as Black History Month, and is now celebrated all over North America. And whereas after the Civil War, many Black Americans sought a better life, free from oppression and in search of new economic opportunities and the liberty to create their own lives. And whereas Black History Month celebrates New Jersey's first Black congressman, Daniel Payne, and our first Black congresswoman, Bonnie Watson Coleman. And whereas the observation of Black History Month calls our nation's attention to the continued need to battle racism and to build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kapadas, do hereby proclaim February 2021 as Black History Month and urge all citizens to celebrate our diverse heritage, culture, and continue our efforts to create a world that is more just, peaceful, and prosperous for all. Okay, and I want to thank Mr. Ranieri for helping us out with these things. It's something that's important. Ms. Pinto always reminds us about Read Across America.
Coming up.
It's coming up, and these kind of things are something a small community like ourselves has to stay involved and understand what we need to do to be a more democratic society. So I appreciate that, Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Well done.
Okay. We do have one little small business. One used car license application has been received by Belmar Collision. All paperwork in order. Is there a motion to approve this used car license?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Ms. Patsy, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll get right on to the resolutions. Resolution 2126 is a resolution authorizing a shared service agreement by and between the Borough of Runnemede and the Borough of Magnolia for services of a qualified purchasing agent. This is Mrs. Straley. She is going to now be our in-house, which is wonderful. And I think it's going to work out very well. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Right, this resolution is adopted. I do want to thank Mr. Law, Bob Law, as everyone knows, has helped the borough out. He was our QPA, our qualified purchasing agent for several years now. He's helped us out when we were in need. He helped us out with the purchase of the 2 fire trucks when we went through that process. I can't say enough that he's always been there for the borough. He worked for the city of Woodbury, but he's always helped us out, and I want to thank him for helping us with this. Resolution 2127 is a resolution confirming 2021 appointments. There is one change, if everyone has their resolution in front of them. We had the 3 police department class 2s, and the police matron, but we had public works, we had the 2 temporary laborers. But if you recall, at the last council, at the caucus meeting, the code enforcement official that Ms. Kelly was talking about, Mr. Cuddle, his rate is $22 an hour starting, I would say we'll make it as of February 1st. So Ms. Pinto, if you can make that amendment, and if would someone like to make a motion to approve this resolution with that amendment?
I approve this motion. I approve this resolution with the amendment.
I'll second.
A motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro,
Yes.
and Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Right, this resolution is adopted. And once again, I do want to say that the police department has taken the time to constantly recruit new people, keep us having the part-time officers. That makes a big difference for the department along with matrons. And then the public works department, I think this is a good move, especially now that we just had this snowstorm, to keep these couple gentlemen on. Obviously it makes a big difference helping us out to get the vehicles out. And I believe also this code enforcement change is also a nice move, moving into the police department, changing the way that we're going to be handling code enforcement to be friendlier, to the point where we're trying to get people to comply. Of course, we always have the courts to go to if compliance doesn't work. Okay. We're at Resolution 2128, which is a resolution authorizing the tax assessor to file appeals, add and omitted assessment, appeals, and rollback complaints with Camden County Board of Taxation, which is something we just do every year. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yeah.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 2129 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Chevy Bolt from Marshal Chevrolet under state contract. Obviously, as Mr. Ranieri said, this is just a formality. Ms. Straley is making us follow the rules very well. So these are things we're going to do to stay on top of things properly. So if someone would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
and Mr. Ranieri.
Absolutely.
6 ayes.
Right. The resolution is adopted. I do want to add, just again, I apologize, I'm adding to every one of these things, but We brought up grants, and I think it's important, if everyone's looking at the resolution, the vehicle's costing us almost $33,000, plus Mr. Ranieri's time, plus the finance department's time, plus our time, and we have a charging station that's on here now. We got a grant, but the grant only covered a small amount. Not that I don't believe that we should do these things and engage in these things, but I want everyone to realize that there is a commitment that we have to make on our own side. It's not just a grant pays 100%. In this particular case, the grant is paying probably less than 20%. So the borough is putting up 80. I believe this is the right decision. I believe it's the future. If everyone knows, I've already ordered my electric car, and it's coming in soon. So I intend to be one of the first people to plug into this pay-for charging station. But I'm okay with that. I just want everyone to realize that. So grants are wonderful, but a lot of grants, they don't cover everything that people think. I think everyone needs to be well aware of that. And just to give one more thing, like the Safe and Secure grant we get per year, it pays about $35,000, a little less than that, for 2 police officers. They cost us over $200,000. So we're getting 35 to spend 200. So we just have to be considerate at all times about these things. I would argue that if we're going to do it anyway, let's use the grant. But a grant shouldn't be the reason we do something. It should be because it's a decision that the council and all of us and the residents need before we do that.
And Nick, with you saying that, the grant committee is focusing in on projects that we've already committed to, that are going to happen anyhow. And we're trying to really, get some better funding for things. And, the more we progress and the more experience we have, the better we get.
Exactly. If we're going to spend the money already and you can save us money, that's the win. That's obviously.
Yep.
Okay, so the next resolution is the second part of this. It's a resolution 2130, is a resolution authorizing the purchase of an electric charging station utilizing New Jersey state approved cooperative agreement. Would someone like to make a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
and Mr. Ranieri.
Oh yeah, yes.
And
You can't help yourself.
Can't help it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Patty, you got a question?
yeah, so we're going to have 2 parking spaces assigned for the charging stations. 2 already existing parking spots.
Correct.
Okay, so now that takes away 2 parking places. So do we always have to keep that open? I mean, we don't know when somebody's going to come and want to charge it, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
well, let me jump in there, Patty. So we have a vehicle right now that Mr. Tuttle uses for code enforcement. That vehicle will be sold on out to auction. So that will eliminate a parking spot where that vehicle's already been parked. The new Bolt will be parked in one of these spots, and then the other spot will be open for the public. So in reality, it's only one spot that we're really trying to push people to park there, except when Mr. Tuttle's not there and he's out. But he's going to need to be able to charge his vehicle.
Okay, so it is in the front. You did say by the butterfly garden, was that it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Shelley, I saw you popped up. Did you want to interject anything, or when I was talking to you, you could always stop something wrong.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay.
I would like to just say something because we're talking about the electric charger and the electric bolt. And I know that the captain's listening. The police department, ultimately we're going to have a charger back on their end. And I got to tell you, I would like to do a study on how much gas consumption we're doing and how much we could expect to save when we are all electric, which is going to happen. It's inevitable. But it would be real nice to see the payback. And I will do that. I will do that so that the police department's excited about it. And, there are faster, you wouldn't be getting a Chevy Bolt It would be a Tesla right now. It's what the police departments are getting. Bill, have you heard about it?
No, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I'll be talking to you a little further about that, but the actual savings in not just gas, maintenance. There's zero maintenance. A 5-year loan on a vehicle, there's zero maintenance. There's no oil change. There's no brakes. Maybe you'll put a set of brakes on it in the entire length of duration of the vehicle. So if you look at, and I see them, I sign them all the bills that we get for our vehicle maintenance. It's a whole different way of life. It's inevitable we're going to get there. And we don't want to be, again, we want to move quickly. So we've got a lot to talk about. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, we'll be forward. We'll be forward thinking going forward always.
Captain, didn't we order 2 hybrids? Captain?
Yes,
Two
Kelly.
hybrids.
They'll be out on the road probably in 2 weeks. The COVID slowed down the outfitting process, but Sergeant Mullins, he gave me about an ETA. About 2 weeks, they'll be both hitting the street. We're looking forward to that.
Great. The 2 hybrids.
Yes.
Step in the right direction.
Yes, definitely.
Good.
We appreciate the new cars too.
Awesome.
Now, just for everyone to know, the hybrids are not plug-in hybrids. They're just hybrids that generate electricity. They shut down when the vehicle's not in use. So the fuel saving should be tremendous on those 2 vehicles, especially if they're just, instead of idling constantly, they'll shut off, which is a nice function.
Yeah.
So I don't want to discount the Chevy Bolts for the police department. I think that might be a nice look.
Whatever's new, we'll take.
They do have Mustangs too, right?
Oh, God.
Okay. All right, so that resolution was adopted. Resolution 2131 is a resolution. Let me see for a second. I probably can do. I'll do one at a time. Resolution 2131 is a resolution authorizing refund on permit fees. This is one where someone got a fee for solar panels and then they're not able to do it. Would someone like to make a motion to approve that refund?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2132 is a resolution authorizing the disposal of borough property which has no value. These are the old Motorola radios. We are donating them to Pine Hill. Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Pasio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Right, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 2133 is a resolution authorizing agreement with BRT Technologies for assessor software. We used this last year. This is the formal agreement. I believe Ms. Pinto is happy with it. It works, and I think the cost is exactly the same as last year's. I think we're fine with that. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, the resolution adopted. Resolution 2134 is a resolution authorizing salary increases for employees. This just puts the titles of each Class 2 SLEO is now $15 an hour. Class 2 Senior SLEO is $16 an hour. Class 2 in training is $12 an hour. So if everyone recalls, we did a salary ordinance last year. So this once again makes it clear. So as we hire people come and go, the rate doesn't change. So even if someone works for us for many years, the rate is for the job. It's not for how long they worked for us until council decides to change that rate. So hopefully this rate's it's a better rate than where we were, and we just got to stay on top of it to be competitive. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Pasio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Pasio.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Right, the resolution is adopted. And another thing, just so when you're looking at these resolutions, we're trying to avoid retro pays, because retro makes it difficult for our payroll clerk. So hopefully when we're making these decisions, we're moving forward, we're not falling too far behind on things. Obviously, we may still have retro pays because of timing with contracts, but these kind of positions, hopefully, we're not gonna have a problem with that. Okay, we have one more resolution, Resolution 2135, it's a resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contractor vendors. This is something I think that Mrs. Straley has asked for. It lists all of the state contracts that we would use. This sounds like more good bookkeeping. So would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, a motion by Ms. Pasio, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Right, that resolution is adopted. We have first reading of ordinance 2102, which is an ordinance amending chapter 395 of the Code of the Borough of Runnemede entitled zoning. This clarifies that in an R1 zone, where we currently require 60 foot of frontage, it makes it clear that properties that were pre-existing prior to the changing of the ordinance can simply follow the zoning, so that they don't have to come in front of the zoning board. So these are infill lots that are in neighborhoods that these lots are already there on our rolls. So would someone like to make a motion to?
Motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law, with a public hearing to be held at a meeting on March 2nd. Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Ms. Kelly. Roll call.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Okay. We have the payment of bills. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the monthly bills.
I'll second.
A motion by Ms. Pasco, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, the bills will be paid. This portion of the meeting is good and welfare. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please give your name and address.
One at a time.
Seeing and hearing no one.
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Pasco. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is closed. Before there's a motion to adjourn, is there anything from anyone before we adjourn?
No, I'm good.
Everybody's okay? Everybody's staying
Everybody's
safe?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I'll share something. I wish it was uplifting. I like to uplift people, but right before the meeting, I got a call from Hallmark, and I do their work. They're closing all 10 of their stores around here. And I said, they've been trying to hold on even with the PPE loans and all that. And they said they just realized retail's dead and they're rolling it up. It's just a sad thing. And retail, I'm just bringing that up, as we move forward with the Black Horse Pike. Yeah, retail's tough. Retail's gonna be tough. So we'll have to get creative with that. That's all.
More so with Hallmark, I think it's more this social media, everyone, happy birthday on Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably.
But you are correct about retail, John. It's very tough these days.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
TD Bank is closing 81 branches.
Yeah, that's just online banking, and the traffic is not as much in the Runnemede store and 3 other ones in our area. In nice areas too. It's not just there. So.
We're the safest to get in and out, yes, me.
Yeah,
We have to look at it as if it's a transitional period. Things are changing. Times have changed. Things will be different. There'll be opportunities in other places for people. It's just going to be different, and it kind of hit home when I 8 stores, and we go there. My wife likes to shop there, or used to anyhow.
Yeah.
So hopefully, the sign of the times are some things we want to see.
All right, get ready for the next nor'easter on Sunday.
Yeah. John, younger people don't even use greeting cards anymore.
No, they do.
They send e-card because it's an environmental issue also.
Yeah,
So that's
I can see it. Yeah,
Yep.
we're going to have to change. And, anybody who's heading those businesses, the business owners, if they're not on top of it and they're not moving where where they have the opportunities, somebody else is going to take those opportunities. So
All I know is
it's all going to work
John
out.
Stock.
Just when we look at our retail in our town, we have to keep those things in mind and get creative. That's all.
All right.
And that's what I was gonna say, the retail.
Happy Tuesday.
I'm glad you're saying about that, because on the Black Horse Pike, I think we have to realize that retail has really changed. And when we're looking at our redevelopment zone, when we're trying to be, we have to be open-minded about the, what might work on the Black Horse Pike in that section between Clemensbridge Road and the Turnpike. I did receive a call, just so everyone knows, there is a gentleman who is looking to put apartments on the Black Horse Pike. That's the new thing, and remember,
People.
2021, very new, very modern. That might be, Runnemede's a great place to live, and it's affordable, and it's convenient, and it's all those things that are attractive. So we just have to be open-minded that the reason this guy came to us is because he actually went to Collingswood first. And when he applied to Collingswood, they wanted him to have storefronts on the block. Because he couldn't meet that requirement, he realized that storefronts weren't going to work. He's been looking in other municipalities. And I had been speaking to an engineer, and he knew that we were open-minded. I didn't say that we were agreeing to anything, but I said we were more open-minded about these type of things. But I do want to add, with what you talked about with the closings, we talked about the TD Bank, we talked about Hallmark. Wilson's Leather has closed. I've even closed Dunkin' Donuts. I've taken the signs down on Dunkin' Donuts that don't have drive-thrus. So thank God we put a drive-thru in Runnemede, or we wouldn't have a Dunkin' Donuts in Runnemede if we didn't have that drive-thru.
I agree. I can see more apartments. I can see open outdoor restaurants, places to eat, maybe the bars adapting to it. It'd be beautiful. So, more people, more options. I think it would be great.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn first, Mr. Lovenstein.
All right.
I'll make a
motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
We're boring, Craig. We've got to hurry up.
All in favor?
Bye.
You're adjourned at exactly 8 o'clock. Thank you all.